Hey there, Dr. Mark here. My client Jerry has lost over 25 pounds in the last 3 years and kept it off on her way to winning her first national championship as a powerlifter, which got me thinking about how best to deliver long-term results for your nutrition clients. So I wrote them down and also interviewed Jerry to give you 5 strategies you need to set up your nutrition clients for long-term success. Starting with number 1, short memory and move forward. Here's the deal. Many of the clients that are going to invest in your nutrition coaching services are going to have elements of the Type A perfectionist mentality where they want to control everything. They are overachievers and they want to be the best, which is great most of the time. And this is the situation Jerry found herself in. Listen to this.
I was trying to decide whether I wanted to kind of really concentrate and hone into my nutrition and drop a weight class, or whether I would just kind of stay where I was at without having much work to do.
Yep.
But I was kind of at the point too where I was very frustrated. I have that all or none mentality, and I was kind of in the none part.
Yeah.
So totally. I was trying to find my way back to finding balance at that same time too.
Now, wanting to improve and shoot for something is great when you have control over the process, but what happens when you don't? It's also really hard to do when you want to have somewhat of a normal life, which, just like Jerry said, makes it really easy to develop that all or nothing mentality. When things get off track, these people have a tendency to throw everything away. They self-sabotage, they get in their own way. Very common to get that one flat tire, screw it, I'm just gonna slash all the 3 remaining tires type effect. It's a trap that does not serve our clients, and it actually robs them of long-term results. And it happens to all kinds of people.
I have like a background in kinesiology and some nutrition background, like where I have that knowledge, but it's just a matter of the accountability piece. So I would set myself up and then I would be really good. And even with a few little things on the side that weren't like considered good food, I felt like I'd be balanced, but then I'd hold myself to such high standards that when I messed up once, that something I hadn't planned ahead for, then I would just fall off the wagon. I'd just say, forget everything. And then I would be not eating out of control, but really overdoing it on the other side.
Gotcha. Yeah. Jerry recognized this and decided that she needed to move past it. And what was helpful for her was this: short memory and move forward. Not everything is going to go as planned. And in those moments, you need to give yourself a little bit of grace. When things don't go your way, learn about it and then move past it as quickly as possible.
I think it's more like it's not all black and white. It's not all or nothing. It's finding that balance and enjoying the process. It's no fun when you're being really restrictive. So to have the balance and factor in like different events that come up in life, or factoring in that you're going to mess up and it's okay. It doesn't have to be that perfect, and just being able to move with that and start the next day.
For sure.
I had that habit of one bad day would trickle into the next, where now I could just say, oh, that wasn't a good day, or that wasn't a good choice. No big deal, and move on. I think you taught me a lot about just that forgiveness. And
this is much easier to do when you have a coach that is supporting you through this, instead of adding to the guilt and focusing on all the things that you're not doing right. Which leads me to my next point. Number 2, being kind and empathetic. We need to do better in the nutrition and fitness world. Listen to some of Jerry's past coaching experiences.
In the past was like something I'm like, well, a coach needs to be strict and they need to tell me what to do, but that's not the case. I needed the whole lesson on do your best and stuff happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that self-loathing stuff is just not cool, right? It's like, I know from personal experience.
When you're coaching people that want to achieve more and improve, they are already pretty hard on themselves. And if you want these people to improve, not just now, but also in the long term, you can't add to the guilt and negativity. Sure, there is a time and a place to be constructive, and there's a time and a place to be more focused and dialed in. But for most of our clients, we need them to be good over longer periods of time. So if you can get them to see this by being kind and empathetic, but still being firm and the guide, then they'll finally get out of their own way. But there are some strategies that make this easier. Point number 3, being flexible. Clients need flexibility, especially the longer they get into the process of working with you. For a client like Jerry, especially as she got closer to the process of maintaining her goal and not just focusing on losing weight, I needed to introduce more flexibility. And I did this through refeeds as well as flex days.
Awesome.
But then we had like the flex days or the refeed days. So then you had that flexibility again. Oh, there's a special event this weekend. Well, I'll just do a refeed day and I'll make that work. And I didn't have to restrict myself. I could still be part of family events or vacations and not feel like I had to be on a strict plan.
Awesome.
So it's just that that flexibility again.
We call these type of days dietary deviations in the Dr. Mark method. They are specific strategies that help boost performance, but also decrease the likelihood that someone will go off track, which gets them to stick to their plan for longer. I like to use refeeds, which are higher carb days that refill muscle glycogen, and also give clients more calories to work with during periods where they have more control over their food intake, and use flex days, which are partial tracking days when they have less control over what they're eating or want to be more social. This makes the entire process easier to stick to, which means they'll get better results over the long term. And it almost makes the process more fun, which leads me to my next point. Looking for the positive. You need to foster a positive environment. Think of any job you worked where the experience was negative. How did you view time? Did things feel like forever? Did you stay in that environment for very long? No, of course not. It may have even ruined something for you. The nutrition coaching environment is no different. We need to help our clients find the fun in the short term by including non-diet foods or treats within their plan to give them something to look forward to and also make it feel like it's not all that restrictive. And when you do this, they get to thinking that they're including things instead of just taking them away. And this is a more positive environment to help them achieve their goals. Who wants to keep doing something that is dreadful? Not many. If we're under the assumption that most goals are achievable if you spend enough time working towards them, which I truly believe is possible, then we need to keep people in the game for longer. Positivity does that, but we also need to give them the chance to look back and reflect on how far they've come. Let me let you in on a secret. 90% of nutrition coaching is just giving people the opportunity to see how far they've come and what they did well. And instead of thinking, what could I do better? Giving them a chance to review things and think, what did I do well here? This is what promotes long-term behavior change. It's not all psychology though. With Jerry, we also use micro commitments to keep her on track, which leads me to my last point, point number 5, short-term goals for long-term success. After working with Jerry for over 3 years, I did notice this. Although we always deserve a break, highly motivated people do much better when they have something to shoot for. She always did better with something to chase. So we planned more meets and competitions to give her something to constantly focus on, which didn't mean that she always needed to be doing something that was strict. It just gave her more chances and opportunities to practice not being perfect, for being good, to stick with it, and to be kind to yourself. And what happens when you can do this over longer periods of time?
It's always a slow process with me in powerlifting. I feel like it's just like baby steps, but it's exciting that I can lift what I did in a higher weight class now, and I feel stronger doing it. So it's pretty neat. And then I've finally surpassed some of those old goals, which is exciting too. Yeah.
Very, very cool. Do you find, is there any issues juggling that stuff as well in terms of like working it all in or the approach or anything like that?
And like I do that mildly, like in the summer, like I'm not heavy into endurance. It's kind of a weakness of mine, so I like to challenge it.
That's how you get long-term results for your clients. And that's it, folks. If you want your clients to get amazing results and to keep them and to pay you forever, you need them to have, number 1, a short-term memory. Number 2, kindness and empathy. Number 3, being flexible. 4, a positive environment. And number 5, short-term goals for long-term success. This would help Jerry lose 25 pounds and keep it off for years on her way to her first national championship as a powerlifter. Now the sky is the limit for Jerry, and I want to thank her for sharing her experience with us. And as great as all those tips are, if you're really serious about starting a nutrition coaching business, the next thing I'm going to have you do is check out this video I've linked up right here. You may be interested in learning more about how to help clients achieve fat loss, and I have a formula for that. I'll teach you it right here. So check it out now, and I'll see you in the next video.